Hello, scam pickers of the cosmos. It's your old friend, Nickly Pickly. Now, today I've been to town and I've picked up a few magazines. Now, the first magazine I will show you was the one I intended to get in the first place, and that was Classic Pop, covering the year 1981. And on the front cover, we have Grace Jones, Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran, Adamant, Mark Allman from Soft Cell, Kim Wilde, Phil Oakey, Suzanne and Joanne from the Human League, and Kraftwerk. Inside there's features on various albums, including, let's see now, Grace Jones Nightclubbing. I don't really know that album. What's on it? Pulps of the Bumpers on it. There's a picture of Phil Oakey, resplendent in his day. Oh, and there's the girls, Joanne and Suzanne. Another album reviewed, Computer World by Kraftwerk. And Duran Duran, with Duran Duran. So it's quite a good magazine. And it's got an article on a tin drum by Japan. And on the back cover, an advert for a reissue of Quiet Life. I have a magazine and it's got the New Romantic era where they cover the album, I think it's called Gentlemen Prefer Polaroids, which comes in between Quiet Life and Tin Drum. Another magazine I got today, it took me by surprise this because I got the Who record collector of the week, but this time it's Queen. I'm a big fan of Queen, but not really as much the early part of the career. I first saw them on Top of the Pops doing Killer Queen, and a friend, Robert, his brother Stephen, had the LPs, probably the first three at that stage, because Sheer Heart Attack was the key album for Killer Queen. I tend to prefer the period that goes between the greatest hits in 1981 and the single Under Pressure came out at that time. That was on the next album, Hot Space. Now, Hot Space should be in here. It's a classic album, or feature on the album anyway. It copies the artwork of a T-Rex album. I think it's the best of T-Rex. Or there's an album that looks like that, or there's like a Fly compilation, I think, that has that colour scheme, which has T-Rex amongst other artists. But Hot Space to me was the beginning of the rise of the band, because after Greatest Hits, of course, Under Pressure was a big commercial hit for them, as it was a duet with David Bowie, and the Tube TV programme began that year, and they filmed them live at Milton Keynes for a Christmas special. And that's the first time I'd seen Queen, really, since the 70s. I hadn't really paid much attention to them in the late 70s, early 80s, because they tended to be concentrating on America. So after Hot Space, you had The Works, and that's when they had things like Radio Gaga and I Want to Break Free, It's a Hard Life, and Hammer to Fall. And then the non-album single, Thank God It's Christmas. And then he said, do they know it's Christmas? Anyway, they played Live Aid on the back of that album in 85. And then after that, they came back with, like a lot of bands, in a way, capitalised on Live Aid, which I wasn't really that pleased about at the time. But they capitalised on Live Aid by releasing one of their biggest albums, A Kind of Magic, and their biggest shows probably ever on the Magic Tour. But sadly after that, Freddie got ill, and although they stayed at the top of their game, they never really recovered in the intervening years. As I say, I bought the new Queen and Adam Lambert album, and I anticipate that it's going to be a good listen. But another magazine I picked up was going back to sort of more the 50s, 60s, early 70s, Elvis at the movies. Now, I have a CD at home that's a triple CD of a collection of Elvis movie songs. And many of the songs are listed here. I don't think that all the films are covered, but I'd say about a good half dozen are covered. Jailhouse Rock is certainly covered. And King Creole, Blue Hawaii. I believe Blue Hawaii was the best-selling film soundtrack. Is it an early film or later film? That's it. Yeah. Elvis in Blue Hawaii. Actually, he's dressed like, I've forgotten he was like dressed like a GI in that film. Kid Galahad, he's a boxer. So it's a good little magazine. This takes you through all his films. One of the craziest ones was Love a Little, Live a Little, or Live a Little, Live a Little, which has the song that sort of brought him back into the public eye. I don't know, in the last 10 to 20 years. A little less conversation, a bit more action, baby, was the song. I think I prefer the original though. There's like a really cool scene in the film where he sings that song. Another magazine here, The Ultimate Guide to the Fall. Now, I was never really that keen, I suppose, on the Fall, but these magazines, like the Talking Heads before it makes me sort of want to go out and investigate the bands a bit more. So on the back of the Talking Heads magazine, I bought the best of Talking Heads. But there's lots of pictures, of course, of all the albums. I don't really know the albums, but I've always thought about investigating the compilation, which is here. 50,000 Fall Fans Can't Be Wrong, which copies a similar album by Elvis. See that there? So that's the magazines I've got today. I also picked up, after watching Listography this morning, Alice Cooper's new album, which is covered in lots of the magazines I've been buying recently, which is called Detroit Stories. And of course, he's from that area of Detroit. And as I say, in the latest Viva La Rock magazine, there's an article on all the famous bands from that area. Motown obviously comes from there, Motown Detroit. And that's where cars were built and lots of people came into the town to work in the factories. And it was a good blend of music in that scene, from the Motown to the funk groove and the garage band sound from Iggy and the Stooges and MC5. I also went to B&M and I picked up this figure of Man-Bat. Now, I've been watching Sea of Tranquility, and I didn't know that Pete Pardo was a big fan of Marvel and DC comics, especially the 60s and 70s editions. I'm probably especially Marvel, but I was always more of a DC person, but I love both. I love Marvel as well, but I'm probably more DC. And this was a bit of a rival to Batman, a reversal of name, Man-Bat. And I remember him in the comics, in things like The Brave and the Bold back in the 70s. And he's a really cool figure, as you can see. And talking of cool figures, Captain Kirk, or should I say Admiral Kirk, from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And guess what? The plane! Yes, it's Ricardo Montalban from that film, The Wrath of Khan. Playing Khan. Khan Noonien Singh, if that's the correct pronunciation. So, as you can see, a good collection of things. So hopefully I shall pick up some more things next week, and I shall talk to you then. Goodbye.